All right, let's dive in. AMD just released its Q3 2025 financial report, and wow, it is absolutely packed with some game-changing numbers and pretty big strategic moves. We're going to break down exactly what it all means.
For months, the big story swirling around AMD has been their huge push into AI. So the question on everyone's mind is pretty simple. Did that massive, expensive bet actually pay off this quarter? Okay, let's just start with the headline number. For Q3 2025, AMD brought in a staggering $9.2 billion in revenue. But honestly, as massive as that number is, the real story here is the crazy growth that it represents. Yeah, this isn't just a little bit of growth. This is a huge leap. That $9.2 billion is up from $6.8 billion just 1 year ago. That's a 36% jump. You have to understand, in a market as competitive as semiconductors, that kind of momentum sends a really powerful signal.
So, the big question is, how in the world did they pull this off? Well, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the overall report card. Then we'll get into the AI growth engine that's really powering everything. After that, we'll look at the big comeback in their consumer tech, unpack some major strategic deals, and then finally, we'll look at what's on the horizon for AMD.
First up, the AI growth engine. Seriously, if you want to understand AMD's success this quarter, you absolutely have to start with their data center business. It has become the powerhouse that's driving all of these incredible numbers.
Just look at this table. It shows a really fundamental shift happening inside the company. The data center segment pulled in over $4.3 billion, making it officially AMD's largest and most profitable business. I mean, check out that operating income, over $1 billion in just 1 quarter. That's huge.
So, what's fueling this data center dominance? Well, the report is crystal clear about it. They say this growth was, and I'm quoting directly here, driven by strong demand for our 5th-generation AMD EPYC processors and AMD Instinct MI350 series GPUs. So in plain English, their powerful server CPUs and their specialized AI chips are just flying off the shelves. But hold on, the story doesn't stop with the data center. Next up, we have to talk about a pretty remarkable comeback in consumer tech. AMD's client and gaming divisions, the part of the business selling chips that you and I actually buy, had a phenomenal quarter. And the scale of this comeback is just stunning. The client business, which is all about their Ryzen PC processors, jumped 46% compared to last year. But the gaming division, wow, that was the real headline. It soared an incredible 181%, mostly thanks to new game consoles and really high demand for their Radeon GPUs. Now, to get the complete picture, we do have to touch on their third business, which is the embedded segment. This is the part of the company that sells chips for things like cars or networking gear. It actually saw its revenue go down by 8%, and the report basically says demand in those markets just remained mixed. Okay. So the performance numbers are clearly impressive, but this next section looks beyond the results and gets into the strategy. Let's unpack some of the massive corporate chess moves AMD has been making that are really shaping its future. This was just a brilliant piece of financial engineering. So first, AMD went out and bought ZT Systems for $4.4 billion. But here's the clever part. They didn't want the whole company. They kept the crown jewel, the AI infrastructure design business, and then they turned around and sold off the manufacturing part for $3 billion. So what's the bottom line? They got a super strategic AI design team for a net cost of just $1.4 billion. Pretty smart.
Now, to understand their next big move, we need to quickly talk about what a stock warrant is. Put simply, it just gives a partner company the right to buy your stock at a fixed price down the road. It's a really powerful way to build long-term partnerships, and here's why that's so important.
Because that matters for this. AMD made a massive deal with OpenAI, one of the biggest names in AI, period. They gave OpenAI a warrant to purchase up to 160 million shares of AMD stock for, get this, just a penny per share. Now, those shares only become available as OpenAI hits certain milestones for buying AMD's GPUs. This is way more than just a sale. It's a deep partnership that ties OpenAI's success directly to AMD's. That creates a powerful moat against competitors for the rest of the decade.
So, you've got these incredible financial results and these really clever strategic deals, and that sets the stage for our final section, what is next for AMD? Let's quickly recap the key takeaways and look at the road ahead.
All right, if you remember nothing else from this quarter, remember these 4 things. 1, we saw explosive top-line growth. 2, AI has turned the data center into the company's new engine. 3, the consumer business came roaring back. And 4, with deals like ZT Systems and OpenAI, AMD proved they're not just thinking about next quarter, they are planning for the next decade.
But, it's not all smooth sailing. Every public company has to list its risks, and I think this quote from AMD's own report really frames the challenge perfectly. The markets in which our products are sold are highly competitive and rapidly evolving. It's a stark reminder that even after an incredible quarter like this, the fight for every single dollar of market share is just relentless.
And that really brings us to the central question for AMD's future. With these major AI partnerships locked in and sales booming across the board, can the company actually sustain this incredible momentum against some of the most powerful rivals in all of tech? That is the multi-billion-dollar question the market is going to be watching. Thanks for tuning in.